let's start the second session of the second and the last, but not least, session of this morning. We will do the applications on precision, viticulture and vineyard management digitalization across Europe. And we have Eloi Montcada, cluster manager of INNOVI, that will be, the manager of this round table. So, Eloi, all yours.
Thank you, Laia. Thank you. Now, okay. Thank you, Laia. Thank you, Eureka, and all the partners for inviting me to try to moderate this round table. As far as we listen till now, we learn a lot about deep tech, big data, and how Vitigeos is trying to use all these technologies in order to be used, okay, by grape growers or by wineries. It's not to put pressure on your shoulders, but in the room, I know there are some grape growers, I know there are some wineries, and they have a lot of expectations about your success stories, okay? Just to say hello and good morning, okay? Thank you for being here in the North European lunchtime. Fortunately, we are in Catalonia, so we have a little bit more time before lunch. So we've got 45 minutes to know how we can use, how you applied this technology and this platform. Before going to the cellars, to the wineries, we will have a very interesting introduction from Professor Boris Basile. He's from the University of Naples, and what he's going to explain is, okay, we've got the technologies, we've got the platform, so next step before apply this platform, we need to gather all the data, we need to calibrate all the algorithms, and after that, the sellers can validate if this platform with gathered data and calibrate algorithm works. So please, Boris, if you want to start with your introduction, and afterwards we will go through the sellers.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you very much. Today I will introduce very briefly the activity we have carried out in one of the work packages of the project, which aimed at the in-field calibration and validation of all the intelligence services. The general aim was to collect enough, big enough data set for the calibration and then the validation of the different models, mathematical models that were involved in the services that I summarized more or less like this: the weather climate forecast model, the phenological models, the disease model, the business and sustainability model, and the crop status indicator models. To do this, we collected data over a total period of 3 years. We started in 2021. It was a very intense campaign of in-field data collection. And then we ended in 2023. The first year, the data collection was mainly devoted to the calibration of the single models. And whereas starting from 2022, the services were running operationally. And so we started basically collecting data mainly for validation purposes of all the services. And we have basically 2 seasons of data collection for this. We collected data at 3 demo sites corresponding to the 3 end users that joined the consortium, and we have representative people here. One in Portugal with Symington, one in Spain with Torres. Symington, we don't need to introduce it. It was in the Douro region. Torres here in Catalonia, Spain, and Mastroberardino in the province of Avellino in Italy. To collect the data, we selected a total of 9 estates owned by the end users. We have two estates, Quinta do Bonfim and Quinta do Ataide, for Portugal, Aranhão and Santa Maria Sarroca for Spain, and five estates, Miraberecrano, Piedrifusi, Montemarano, Santa Paolina, and Montefusco for the pilot plot in Italy. All these estates were selected to provide a quite large variability in climatic conditions, to give strength for the calibration, and then also validity, sorry for the repetition, for the validation, but also because all these estates were equipped with nearby automatic weather station that were connected to the platform to feed all the services that require the weather station data, and also to make the first calibrations of the weather and climate services. That I'm not going to say anything because Nuria was already very clear in that. And moving to the phenological models, we collected data on 5 cultivars. There were 4 red cultivars, were Aglianico in Italy, Syrah here in Catalonia, and Touriga Franca and Touriga Nacional in Portugal, and then a white cultivar in Italy, Greco. Data collection was carried out in a total of 24 parcels. We decided to have a multiple parcel per cultivar. We had 6 for Aglianico, 4 for Greco, these are the 2 Italian ones, and then 4 for Syrah, and also 4 for Touriga Franca and Touriga Nacional. These are representations of the parcels we selected. In the data collection, we targeted 6 phenological stages that we defined on the Bajolini scale. And these were bud break, blooming, fruit set, veraison, grape maturity, and then also leaf fall. And this was done following a very strict experimental design that I'm representing in this schematic representation with several replicates and blocks. In addition to this, we at each demo site we installed 3 in-field camera. This is a moment of the installation in Italy. These cameras were collecting images every day. In the same moment, was taking 2 pictures, one of the whole canopy, and then a close-up image, mainly focused on the bunch zone. Passing to the disease model. We, as already anticipated, we tried to collect data on 2 diseases, powdery and downy mildews. And we started basically with 3 parcels, 1 per end user, including 3 cultivars that were Greco, Syrah, and Touriga Nacional. This was done in the first 2 years of the project, but then we added 3 more cultivars, 1 per end user. There were Aglianico there were 3 red cultivars, Aglianico in Italy, then Carignan in Spain, and Touriga Franca in Portugal. These are a representation of the parcels we adopted, also because I want to explain that for collecting data, we defined a specific experimental design in which we had basically 3 treatments that we were comparing while we were collecting data on diseases. One was the business as usual treatment, so we were asking the end users to manage their to perform the disease management as they do generally in their business, so following their own criteria. Then we had a control that was made mainly to provide the data for the disease calibration, disease model calibration. in which we asked the end user to postpone a little bit the first treatment until some diseases were appearing and reaching a specific intensity. And then these were running from the first year of the project, but then in the third year, we added a third validation treatment. It was we call it viticulture management. So we were asking the end users to check the platform and take decisions based on the recommendations. Passing to the use resources. Alex was very clear. Basically, we collected a number of information from the end user related to the use of resources, other information, cost-benefit information that were loaded in the platform. But we also installed sensors and data loggers at the trade demo site on the tractors. Actually, we're connected to the sprayers to track the movement of the tractor and to collect information directly on water usage and other information. Finally, the key crop indicators. We asked the end user to upload as many parcels as they could in the platform, just to test the platform, collect information on crop status data. And at the moment, we have a total of 193 parcels loaded in the platform, covering 237 hectares, including 22 cultivars, 4 white and 18 reds. Finally, we also made some drone flights. We had 6 flights per season, starting from May to September in each of the pilot plots. And they already reported that the drone was equipped with the RGB cameras. With this, I think I finished, and I thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much for explaining so clear the way that the experimental design was performing the project, and also for showing us these so green vineyards that we are missing in Catalonia. So thank you very much for these pictures. We really miss them. Okay, so let's shift from the academia to the industry. It's very, very easy to introduce the next 3 speakers, because all of them are sharing 3 characteristics. All of them have more than 20 years in viticulture. All of them studied agriculture studies, some of them engineering, some of them science, agriculture science, and all of them are working in the viticulture part of 3 top EU sellers. Okay, so it's quite easy to introduce them, all of them. One of them from my right to my left, we've got Antonio Dente. He's representing Mastroberardino, a seller in the southern part of Italy, in Napoli, I think. Okay. Montse, sorry? Avellino. In Avellino. Close to Napoli or not close to Napoli? 1 hour by wow, close to Napoli. Okay. Next one is Montse Torres. He's representing Familia Torres. It's quite well known, at least here in this room. And the next one is Fernando Alves from Portugal. He's representing Symington, a quite well known Porto wine company. So we've got from 5 to 7 minutes in order to answer just a very easy question. It's only one question. Of course, afterwards you will have time to promote more questions and launch questions for the speakers, but let me introduce just one. How do you think Vitigeos can help you and your companies? I think it's a very easy question. So please, you've got 5 minutes each one. Who is going to start? Montse? Okay.
Hello everyone again. I'm going to begin explaining the success case from Familia Torres. So first of all, I know the people in the room know about the company, but we know there's a lot of people from other countries in Europe that maybe they don't know our company. Then we have 2 slides to a little bit present the company. So, well, this company is a family-owned company that it was founded in 1870. And over there you can see the pictures of the founders. This is Jaime and Miguel Torres. And here you have the nowadays generation. So here is the 4th generation and the 5th generation of the company. We have wineries in California, Marimar State, in Chile, in Curicó, Miguel Torres, Chile. And in Spain we have Jan León and Familia Torres wineries. In Spain we are in different appellations, so in Rioja, Ribera del Duero, Rueda, and Rías Baixas. And here in Catalonia, we are in several appellations like Costers del Segre, Priorat, Penedès, and Conca de Barberà. The trials were in Costers del Segre and in the Penedès region, in the Aranyó Fields and Sant Martí Sarroca that Boris has already explained. And here, well, in this big slide, there's a lot of information. I will try to be quick. So we are one of the co-founders of the International Wineries for Climate Protection. So we have a commitment for the 2030. This is to reduce our CO2 emissions per bottle by 60% compared to 2008. So there are different focus where we are working in order to arrive to this commitment. So first of all is our carbon footprint. We analyze the carbon footprint of our bottles. Also, we work with our suppliers. In terms of photovoltaic panels, these are for our self-consumption in the company. We also have a boiler mass where we use organic residues like the rest of pruning wood of our vineyards. The architecture of our winery is sustainable, that improves insulation and energy efficiency. Here below what you are seeing, there's the cellar. The mobility for the visitor centers, we have electric trains, but then for our fleet, for commercials and also for the people inside the company, all the cars are hybrid or they're electric. There's also rainwater storage, and the water that we consume is treated, and 30% is reused. Also, this slide here is, because of the climate change, we are looking for different landscapes in high altitudes. So this is, for example, this one is in Trem, so we have planted in different places. Also forest management and animal pasture in Catalonia. And also we have done reforestation projects in Spain and Chile. Well, many of you may know that we are focused on regenerative viticulture, because we want to promote the biodiversity, improve our soil's health, and the main point is to increase the carbon sequestration. And lastly, we reuse the carbon from the fermentation as an inert gas in our company. So this was just the introduction. I don't know how many minutes I have already. Okay, so I'm going to explain you the user case for what Barcelona Computing Center has done in the project. So I will not explain that because Nuria has already explained very well. So we are focusing weather forecasts and climate predictions. So just I try to do something very practical because the majority of you maybe here in the audience know a lot of viticulture, so I do something very practical. Why do we use the short-term forecast? So for example, frost. At the beginning of the growing season, when the shoots are very short, if we have a frost, they can be damaged. As you can see here in the picture, this shoot is dead. So if we know in advance that there will be a frost in 2 days or in 3 days, we can do some practices to prevent this frost. Also for irrigation, we are in a place with a scarcity of water. So if tomorrow it's going to rain and we should do irrigation, we will keep the water to do it later another day. Also for the treatments, we are in organics. If there's a rain, the treatments are washed. So we are not going to do a treatment if tomorrow it's going to rain. For the harvest also, the time for picking, it should be the precise moment. And for the workforce allocation and also resource allocation, this is, there are critical tasks that cannot be stopped because of the weather. So if we know in advance, in a short-term forecast, what will happen in some days, this will help us a lot. And now I change subject to subseasonal and seasonal predictions. So what we do, how we use these predictions, these 3 last years, it has been a very dry period here in the Penedès region. And as you can see here in this picture, all of these vines, this is one of Torres vineyards. Well, these vines are dead. So we have had extreme temperatures, drought. If you know that in some mountains you will have a period like this, you can manage your practices in order to prevent to arrive to this situation. For the snow, it's not a problem because if there's a snow, that means water in the future, so everybody's happy. But the problems are storms and hail. If we know in advance, we can buy nets, put nets in our vineyards in order to protect from hail. For the scheduling, pruning, for example, now we are pruning. If we know that this this spring will be very dry or not, we can leave more buds at the pruning, less buds at the pruning, or if this year we suppose the degree days are more than last year, so maybe the vineyard will burst earlier than last year, and we don't want, for example, to be our vines affected by a frost, we can delay our moment of pruning. Also, for example, for leaf removal, if we know that during the harvest period it will be a dry period, we can take out leaves, remove. Yeah, okay, so, okay, great. Water management, so irrigation, it's very influenced depending on if we have a planification of what we'll have in terms of climate. And soil conservation, problems of erosion, that means a lack of nutrient runoff. And the last one is for preventing the disease, well, you may know, and for the estimation of the harvest. If you have the 2 months before harvest are very crucial in order to the grapes, the diameter of the grapes, of the berries, and then the size of the grapes. If you have a dry period or not a dry period, the quantity of harvest will be different. So, well, that's in summary everything. So if you have any question, I can answer later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Montse, for focusing your success story in one of the aspects or one of the functionalities that the platform can provide to you. Next one will be Antonio. Antonio, as you can see, here you have the brand he's representing. So please, when you want.
Thank you and good morning, everybody. My name is Antonio Dente. I'm the viticulture manager in Mastroberardino company. Mastroberardino is one of the oldest winemaking firms in Italy, the oldest winery in Campania region, which has been producing classic wines since the middle of the 18th century. The winery was officially registered as an exporter in 1878 by the great-grandfather of the current president, Piero Mastroberardino, who represents the 10th generation of the family. We are located in the south of Italy, in Campania region, but in the inland of the region. So we are surrounded by mountains. In fact, our wines are the expression of a mountain viticulture. Mastroberardino means a bicentenary family history, a high viticulture vocation territory testified by 3 DOCG appellation, Greco di Tufo, Fiano di Avellino, and Taurasi. Avellino is the only province in the entire south of Italy to have a 3 DOCG appellation. We are a land of indigenous viticulture with historical and 2,000-year-old grape varieties. We have a global and modern vision with a great attention to environment and sustainability, testified by 2 certifications, Viva Sustainable Wine and SQNP, that is the Italian, the national standard for integrated pest management. We are in a land of a great variability and heterogeneity in the field. In fact, we have logistic problems for the monitoring and the management. Consider that we have 240 hectares, but distributed in 17 locations and about 40 different sites. So a decision support system can be very helpful in our decision process with the aim to achieve a precision management of our properties. The Vitigeos DSS showed us several value adds. We can benefit from a single user-friendly platform providing multiple services, which reduces the time and the effort of having to check different platform and information sources. The viticulture manager can anticipate climatic condition, as we have seen with the Montse speech. We can anticipate the climatic condition thanks to seasonal and subseasonal forecast. He can take advantage observing both a wide-eye view from the satellite imagery and also a close-eye view from the infield camera among the vines. Of course, the remote sensing can monitor vineyards for signs of stress and diseases, allowing for early detection and timely action. That is crucial in our work, the timely action. It's very important for us also to have the possibility to have a data storage, facilitating the recording and the data analysis of historical data, allowing to have the track of the trends over time and achieve a better management based on past experiences. All these can lead to cost savings by avoiding unnecessary treatments and optimizing resource use. For us, it's very important sustainability, but in all the wine sector, of course. But we have our certification, and we have to improve year after year. So about sustainability, it's important to have the comparison of the impacts over time. So the measurement of sustainability performances represents the concrete starting point for implementing effective continuous improvement actions in the view of an increasingly sustainable viticulture. On the platform, we can have sustainability data about the usage of products and resources, the environmental impact, but we can have a look also to some useful key crop indicators for our management and our improvement of the performances, looking at, for example, yield forecast, water demand, and nitrogen in the vineyards. Among the different services that are included on the platform, we found really useful also the business management tool that allows to optimize the task execution schedules, minimizing the time needed to finish them and their economic cost. So we used this tool for our shoot positioning operation. in all our vineyards. So, as I told you before, we have a lot of variability and heterogeneity, a lot of plots to manage. So this tool showed us the possibility to have a good program of work. In Irpinia, in our land, our province is also known as Irpinia, the shoot growth in the vineyards is highly vigorous and canopy development is excessive. So to impose balance in our vineyards, vertical shoot positioning is necessary, sometimes historically also repeatedly. Overcrowded and dense canopies are more susceptible to disease and also to produce cluster with herbaceousness, increased herbaceousness and delayed ripening. Of course, there are differences in phenology among grape varieties and among the plots of our viticulture districts. It's crucial the timing of this positioning operation, before the shoots may break off and after the shoots may not move. So the optimizer can consider the variety of the land plots and the surfaces, the available workers, and the process priorities connected to grape varieties and plots. And can, when this scenario has been defined, the artificial intelligence algorithm find the optimal solution with task assignments and that can determine savings of cost and time. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, Antonio. Thank you, Antonio, for this wider scope of potential application and services that can provide BTGeos, especially dividing them between decision support system, business model tools, business management tool. So thank you. I think it has been a very clear idea how BTGeos can help us.
Yes, it's very powerful as a tool. It's innovative in some way.
And he introduced some very interesting words like resources optimization, cost savings. I think it's quite interesting from the point of view of business point of view. Okay, so next one will be Fernando. Fernando, here you have the logo of your brand, of your company. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and very first thank you is for Montcada, because after more 20 years in business, quite 40 is probably the very first time that my name Alves is quite correctly spelled instead of Alves. Thank you, and good morning to everybody. So we exist mainly in the Douro region, in north of Portugal. As you can see, we participate in VitiGeos project with 2 properties as a demo farms with different shapes, a terrace in the very steep slope area and a flat area in the Douro Superior, more close to the border with Spain. Symington, only a very few words about Symington, is one of the most important companies producing port and Douro, in the Douro region in north of Portugal. We own more than 31 properties in the region. As you can see in the map, spread across the region, mainly close to the river Douro. And nowadays, since 2017, we make also operations in the south of Portugal, in the Alentejo, as you can see in the map, and since 2022 in the north of Portugal, in the vineyard region, and since last year in the UK through the Hambledon company. And you can see some of our brands that belong to the Symington company. So why this is important for us? I will show some real data about what happens, not only in the region, because it's spread for all over the south of Europe and mainly all regions. As you can see, for the last 5 decades, there are a increased trend in temperature for the average in one of our locations in Pinhão. And this is more important not only do it to the maximum temperature, but also, more important, the increase in minimal temperature. So this related also with the precipitation, not only the availability, but also the distribution. There are new trends. For example, we are going to compare the normal from 31 to 60 with the new normal that are going to arrive very soon from 91 to 2020. So there are quite the same value from both. There are a decrease of 3% of total precipitation between both. This is the distribution of the normal of 3160. This is the distribution of normal 91-2020. As you can see easily, there are a shift on the distribution of the precipitation from February and March to October and November. That means we have the total number at the end, but it's totally different to get this precipitation at the beginning of the vegetative, the growing season, or at the end of the growing season. And based on this, what means the temperature and drought impacts, for example, we can compare some of the last years, and for example, if you look for the years that we work for VTGOS project, in these 3 years we get the coolest year for in the region for the last 10 years, the warmest and drought, with higher drought in 2022 in the region, quite similar to what you experience here in Catalonia nowadays, and for example 23 with the highest precipitation in September, and also during the winter that promote a lot of problems with the erosion in soils. And you can easily, for example, this is a monitoring of soil moisture taken weekly with the diviner probes in one of our demo plots. For example, since 2017 up to now, this is only the line of 90 centimeters depth, and you can see very easy. 2022 was a disaster about the availability of the water. And what is the consequence of this? This is the picture of the reference plot at Quinta de Bonfim for 2021 at the first week of September, and this is the same week of September in 2022. You can see what happens when we get this problem. So, to compare, to analyze this, since many years ago, we tried to examine the concept of soil plant atmosphere for water management between what happens in soil, the leaf area, to determine the coefficient cultural for this, and to try to do the balance between the evapotranspiration and photosynthesis. But as you know, this is not new for this focus. This is mainly driven by the VPD or the ETC, depends of the ETP, the evapotranspiration. And the problem that we get is how to get this information precisely to manage water for our vineyards. This is a pictogram that we try to build to summarize some of the techniques used for monitoring our vines. We start to apply, since a long time ago, leaf water potential as a pre-dow. We use sometimes the leaf water potential at midday or stem. We start to use the canopy temperature, soil probes since 10 years ago. And we use also some approach more for experimental deployment as a thermal image or stomatal conductance in cooperation with different research centers. We do also samplings for the carbon isotopic discrimination for delta C13. And since 2017, we apply drone images, and since the project of VTGOS, we also apply satellite imagery. So, since the crop evapotranspiration is done by a weather station based in the middle of the property, our problem is also to determine the correct crop evapotranspiration for the different parcels, different plots, different properties around this area. And some of these tools, for example, subflow that we start to apply since 2023, also dendrometry, but some of them are lacking resolution or are costly effective, or there are need more post-processing time to achieve the data. So we are based now, we compare the standard as pre-down leaf water potential with some satellite imagery and also with drone imagery, and crop evapotranspiration to manage our strategies. For example, we can get the image of a orthophoto mapper from one of our demo plots. Is one of them located at Quinta do Ataíde. As you can see here in the first image, there are some lines very dark in color. That means because inside this plot there are a trial for different irrigation strategies, and this trend that you see in the photo map, you can find it more or less here in the homogenization of drone image, and also the same you can see here from the satellite image included in the VTGOS project. For example, we have here the design, the experimental design of this plot, and and you can see it for example, the T3 is the higher amount of water applied in this experiment, and the image reflects very well what happens in the floor. And looking for the opportunities given by the platform of VTGOS, we try to use the evapotranspiration not only for this plot, but also to examine what happens, what is the real needs for the different plots inside the company, inside this property, for example, for evapotranspiration, and also for crop water demand. As Jessica already explained, I show only the data for the 4 locations in 2 demo sites, and there are a huge variation between them. This is between May to September from 22 and May to September from 23. As you can see, 23 is not so drought as 22, but it has a higher crop demand because it's related with the index of leaf area, for sure. So in this case, key crop indicators are being delivered weekly for the platform. Values are enabled. We use these values to adjust deficit irrigation strategies and also to adapt to different plots and grape varieties. And more important for us is saving water and improve the water use efficiency by the vines. To finalize, for example, we try to apply this for the Quinta do Ataíde. As you can see, we have demo plots located here, there, and there. And we try to use the information collected from these plots to apply. This is a homogenization of the drone image at the variation that normally we do in our properties, and this allows us combining the remote sensing techniques for airplane, drone, or satellite that classify the difference between vines, plots, and farms with these key crop indicators and ground data in order to help growers, not only for us, but also to develop something that could help growers and also the growers that are supply grapes for the company to upscale the information and to take decisions. And I think that's all. Thank you.
It's your time. It's time for questions. We have no questions from people attending online this event in online way. I don't know if in the room there are questions. Feli, come on.
Hello, I'm Feli Derralde. I'm a researcher from IRTA here in Catalonia, and I would like to ask you, in general, all the participants and all the ponents, just a piece of criticism in the results of the project, because it seems that everything went perfect. And as a coordinator of European projects and with many years in research, everything doesn't work always. So, for example, I had a question for Boris. Just 2 years of calibration, of validation, it's enough?
Well,
tough question, man.
well, that's a good question, but it comes also.
I know the projects are so short. But
We work in the same field, so we know the problem. No, well, it's a good question, and the main thing is that I did not mention. Actually, it was mentioned before. Some other colleagues is that for some of the services we had historical data.
Yeah.
So So we asked the participation also these end users because they already had some historical data. So we had weather station historical data, we had phenology data, we had, but as you said, there is always something that could be improved. From my perspective, I presented only what we have done, so I did not present any data. The performances of some of the models were already presented. It's clear that from my point of view, some of the services, some of the models needs additional calibration to improve the performances. And for this reason, we are dedicated this extra year, even though the project is over, to provide another extra year of intense data collection. But for several of these models, we had already historical data.
I can add something for Felicidad. Thank you for your question. Probably I speak too fast because I prepared this for 10 minutes.
It's my fault,
when
sorry.
I need to start, tell me it's 5. Okay, 5. But I'm the last. I can spell more. I can speak for more time. I just received information that I use 9 minutes 59 seconds, so it's perfect. But probably it's so fast as I say several times there are a potential to use. Because we addressed to your question, most of these projects and these models needs more time for validation for sure. And when I use the reference during 3 years of the project, we get the coolest, the warmest, and the distribution is impossible to have a model total fitted with our needs under these kind of years. It's not a lab. Normally we say we have a living lab, but it's a really living lab. It's very difficult to work under these conditions.
I can add something. Yes, it's clear that this kind of platform, this kind of solution need time for the validation. Also because it's so rich of different tools and it provides multiple services. So it was really a very challenging aim, a very challenging project. But all the partners agreed to have one more time with the possibility to have better results. Of course, our session is about the success stories, much more focused, of course, on the great potentiality and the great powerful of this solution. So we spoke about the things that we just use in our decision-making process. But of course, we have to spend much more time in taking data and validate more and more the solution.
Time for one more question. Luis, you are doubting? Not? Okay. Yes, okay, come on. The microphone, please. Yes, of course. Well, we're going to try it.
És que cada vegada tenim moltes més dades i realment, des del punt de vista agronòmic, totes les integrem en el cap i fem una resposta més o menys lògica des del punt de vista agronòmic, però clar, és que no arribem a tot arreu. Creieu que la intel·ligència artificial o l'anàlisi de múltiples dades ens pot arribar a ajudar a realment a poder analitzar més coses, a poder tenir en compte més dades i moltes vegades aspectes de les dades que no tenim capacitat de veure.
Okay, he's a technician and he's representing the viticulture technicians, and they said, we have a lot of data, I don't know if too much data, but we've got a lot of them, and we are trying to use them in order to apply, to improve our performance in the vineyard using human intelligence. So the question is, do you think artificial intelligence can help us in order to use this data and to take more profit of them? I don't know if you as the academic.
That's a very good question, and from my point of view, yes, because the complexity of the responses of a complex system like a vineyard to this multiple variable system sometimes is not very easy to rationalize by a human mind. So models and artificial intelligence can help finding solutions that are so complex from a human mind, because we have to take so many variables at the same time and so many information that we are not able.
We are limited, that's for sure, as humans.
I would add something. Well, it's not really about intelligence, artificial intelligence. He said that we have a lot of data, how to do the interpretation of all of them. And one of the advantages of this platform, you have everything in the same platform, and a lot of them are already interpreted in this platform. As Fran said before, there are a lot of places when you can take up information, and all of them are different platforms. The information you cannot mix between them. And here, everything is at the same place. So this is very helpful for us.
Only to do a small statement about this and about this question. It's very important. Sorry, I can't speak Catalan, at least, with precision. I show some of the methods in monitoring for the water management that is crucial, not only for us, but also, I think, for everybody here in the room. There are several methods. I start to do, in my career, I do the first approach to apply weekly basis to measure water potential. That means we need to wake up at 3 in the morning to go drive for 1 hour for this property, and then very fast take data during 1 hour and a half to get some data in 2002. I start a project for this, and I say to my buttons, okay, in 2-3 years, probably we get a model to avoid this walking in the night to take data in field. So suddenly there are more 22 years since I beginning, and at this moment, probably there are some approach, but not yet nothing to apply and to replace correctly the standard methods. There are a huge movement of new approach to do something that could be interesting, but all of them needs time to be applied in field, always. And the most important thing, I made a joke in another talk. I show a pair of my, sorry me by the promotion, Shiruka boots in field. And I say that in our company we apply a very special and adapted IoT technique. It's ir ao terreno in Portuguese.
Hey, thank you, Fernando. So it's time to close this round table. I think the next and the last talk is about deploying Vitigeos. I think during this round table some questions arose, especially how to improve the validation, how to improve the accuracy, how to improve the way to take profit of this service. So, Laia, I think you have a lot of way to improve and to deploy Vitigeos in the next future. Thank you very much for being here, and let's go on.